Hi guys, welcome back to Mel's Kitchen, and today I am going to be showing you another one of our family favorites, meatballs. So every other week in the kitchen I always tend to do either spaghetti, but it will be in the form of either meat sauce or meatballs. It's just something my kids have always loved. It's a great way of me being able to get some added vegetables in there, and so I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can do this. The main way I'm going to show you is how to do it in the Instant Pot, and then I'm going to give you a variation on how you can do it in the slow cooker. And of course you can do it where you bake the meatballs in the oven too, and I'll give you that in the description. But let's get started. So before I do anything else, I've got the Instant Pot set to saute, and I'm going to saute for 5 minutes. I have an onion diced, I have a green pepper diced, and I have a garlic clove. Okay, so it's been minced. So I'm going to throw those in the Instant Pot now. And in there, I'll let that settle down. In there I had a tablespoon of coconut oil. Okay. So like I said, I just put that on the saute setting, and I'm going to saute that up for 5 minutes. Just let them soften up a little bit. Now I love the Instant Pot. It really is just like throw things in and forget about it, and it doesn't take too long, and the flavours are like it's been sitting there for hours. So it's a really great sauce. Now the meatballs themselves, when you actually put the pressure cooker setting on, it only takes 5 minutes, but obviously there is some time of prep ahead of it, and you have to let the steam release naturally for about 10 minutes after. So probably about 30 minutes is when you can make this meal for. So that is sauteing. In here I have a pound of ground beef. I'm going to throw in, I always love adding mustard. I used to hate mustard. Oh, there it comes. Get your hands. I used to hate mustard as a kid. Now it's like one of my favourite condiments. And it's great. A lot of the time mustard doesn't have many additives added to it, so it's one of the cleaner condiments. So here I have Dijon mustard, so I'm just going to add a tablespoon of that. Throw that in there. I'm going to put an egg in, so this will help bind it. Now if you can't eat eggs, what you can do is add a flax egg. So you can take a tablespoon of ground flax, mix it with 3 tablespoons of warm water, and let it sit for anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes until it goes gelatinous, and then that will be used as your binder. And you can use that in all different kinds of recipes, and I think I may have mentioned that in another video, but anyway. So I've got my ground beef, I have my Dijon mustard, my egg. I'm now going to add half a teaspoon of oregano. Make sure this is oregano, yeah, good. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Throw that in. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt and pepper. But again, if you've followed my last videos, you know I'm using the pink salt right now. So there's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to add the pepper in. The nice thing is once that's sauteing, it gives you time to make the meatballs. Now this is where you've got to pull your sleeves up. Put the sleeves up. Taking my rings off. This is where it is going to get messy. But honestly, it's so much easier if you do it with your hands. Okay, so you squish everything up. Mix it all in. Some people hate getting their hands in, especially when it involves meat, but do you know what? It's the easiest way. If you don't, you can use a spoon to mix it up. I just find it's a little bit harder that way. Really squish everything together to make sure that all the ingredients are mixed. Okay, just checking these. Yep, looking good. It's starting to smell in here too. I love onions. Okay, so I've mixed all that in really well, as you can see, and now I'm just going to form the meatballs. Now you can make them whatever size. I tend to always go for about golf ball size, but if you have smaller kids, you can make them smaller. You're in control of this. That's the nice thing. So anyway, now the recipe should make anywhere between about 15 to 18 meatballs, depending on the size of them. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm showing you the recipe in the Instant Pot. I have thrown in onions and green pepper in there. Often I'll throw in diced up carrot. Mushrooms I'll also add in. Diced up zucchini I will add in too. I remember when the kids were super little, I just would fill it. See, now the beeping, it's just turned off. It's been sauteing for 5 minutes, so it automatically turns off. But yeah, I remember when the kids were little, I would just load up on the veggies. I try and do it more now. My youngest will notice like things like mushrooms he doesn't like, and I have to dice up the onions really small as well. But it's like I said, it's a great one. It doesn't have to be the tomato sauce. Throw in extra servings of veggies for yourself and your kids. It's great. Okay, so as I'm doing this, sorry, this is the part that takes the most time, but again, it's good. And double batch. Remember, if you're going to make things like this, double batch it and then freeze extra. And then you've got them for another night when you're really busy or you're rushing out the door and you've only got half an hour to eat. All you have to do is get them out the freezer, reheat, throw in a, I'm going to show you today how to make your own sauce, but I'm also going to show you a store-bought one that is my favourite. And if you've been following me for a while on Instagram, you've probably seen me post about this. It's another good Costco find. So at the end of this, I'm going to show you, yeah, store-bought one, different options for pasta. Sometimes people don't want to have the pasta. You can increase your veggies, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways of doing that. We're getting there. We're getting there. If the kids like being in the kitchen with you, or hubby, then get them to help out too. I'm lucky. Dave loves to cook in the kitchen, so often when he's home, tends to be more at weekends. Sundays tends to be the day that he cooks, and then he likes to experiment. In the summer, he's always out on the barbecue, doing all that type of stuff. Okay, got a couple more to go, so I have to count, see how many I made. Don't have to be perfect, don't have to be perfectly round, just make them into meatballs. That's all you need to do. Okay, let me just give my hands a quick wash. Okay, let's see how many we have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So mine made 16 meatballs. Extra bit of soap. Actually, lots of soap in the house right now. Okay, so here are the meatballs I've made. So now my my onions and pepper are sauteed. What I'm going to do now is show you how to make the sauce. So that's obviously a base of the sauce. Now I tend to put in a can of crushed tomatoes. This is a brand I really like, Muir Glen, and what I like about these is these are fire roasted crushed tomatoes. They taste amazing. They even smell really good. And I got these at Metro, just with all the regular diced tomatoes. So I'm going to throw these in. If you haven't got diced tomatoes and you have the bottle of the, I think they call it passata, strained tomatoes, you can use that as well. Costco I buy these, so I always have them on hand in case I'm out of anything else. But yeah, these come, you can even make pizza sauce with things like this too. So this is really handy, and I like this brand because it comes in a glass jar. So I am going to throw in, I'm going to have the tomato sauce. So, oh sorry, the crushed tomatoes. So the full can goes in there. I'm going to throw in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I love this one because it comes in a tube. It took me forever to find this. A lot of them just come in the cans, and the problem is if you're only using a little bit, then the rest of the can will go off if you're not going to use it again really quickly. So I like the tubes because it keeps the remainder. So I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to throw in. The more time you spend in the kitchen, the more you will be easily able to just say, oh yeah, that's a tablespoon, that's a teaspoon. I still measure out in some instances, but I'm way more confident than I used to be. And honestly, when I moved to Canada in 2004, I was not good in the kitchen. Dave laughed at me because my stuff I cooked had no flavour. I hadn't really experimented. So I have improved. If I can get better in the kitchen, you can definitely get better. So I've added in the tomatoes, the tomato paste. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of oregano. Make sure it's oregano again, yep. So a tablespoon of oregano. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of dried basil leaves. Now obviously you can use fresh, but I am using dry. Again, I've showed you these ones before, but I love this brand, Simply Organic. Comes in the glass jars and then you can just refill. I love glass jars for products. Get away from the plastic as much as you can. And then I think that's it. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm probably going to add another dash of salt, just another 1/4 teaspoon. And then some more pepper. Okay, give that a really good mix, and that is your sauce. Okay. Oh, and those fire roasted tomatoes, honestly, if you have a chance, do it. I'm going to show you, lift this out without hurting myself. I don't know whether you can see in there. Can you see that sauce? Oh, it looks lovely. Okay, now, alternative sauce. This is the one I was talking about, by a company called Simply Natural. And this one is a tomato and basil pasta sauce, and it comes in a 3-pack at Costco. You can get them in regular grocery stores, but they're not as big. This one is 880 ml and a really great price. And the ingredients are decent. Tomato puree, tomatoes, basil, salt, soybean oil, dehydrated onion, garlic powder, dehydrated oregano, and dehydrated garlic. So I can pronounce all the ingredients, okay? It's organic, gluten-free, lactose-free, vegan. So this is a really great option, and I use this a lot. But see how quick and easy that is to make. But you have to think ahead. You've got to make sure you have either the crushed tomatoes or the tomato sauce in your cupboard. If not, always keep some of these, and it's a quick and easy meal. So now I've mixed the sauce together, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the meatballs in the Instant Pot. Just make sure they're spread out evenly, okay? Okay, adding all these. This honestly is such an easy dinner to make. Now I used ground beef, but remember you can use ground turkey, ground chicken, you can use a mixture of ground beef and pork for the meatballs. Go with whatever is your preference. Here we go, one more to go. Okay, and then all I do, here's my lid. Pop the lid on. You make sure that the venting is turned off. Oh, hold on. Okay. Now it's not working. This is why these videos come in handy. You see how things go wrong in the kitchen. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I put it on pressure cook, but I just want it on pressure cook. I had it on 2 hours because the last thing I did in here was bone broth. This is awesome for doing bone broth. Bone broth normally takes about 24 to 48 hours if you do it on the stove or on the slow cooker. In here, it takes 2 hours, so it's awesome. But anyway, I'm putting the time down to, honestly, 5 minutes. Whoops. It's high pressure for 5 minutes. And then I leave it and I walk away. As easy as that. Okay, so now I am going to show you some alternatives for pasta. So if you eat white pasta, ideally I'm asking you to try some different varieties to up the ante in the nutrients. So what we want to do is, if you're on white pasta, we want to get you onto whole wheat pasta. If you are on whole wheat pasta, we want to get you onto whole grain pasta, or some other alternatives which I'm going to show you. So the two favourite brands or types of pasta that I have in this house is chickpea. So this one, where are my glasses? Getting old. Let's see. Ingredients are chickpea flour and lentil flour. So in here, if you, for a third of the package, you are getting 11 grams of fibre. Now probably you're not going to have a third of the package, it's probably going to be too much, but it's a really great source of fibre, whole grains. So complex carbohydrates, these are the ones that are going to keep your blood sugar nice and steady and not spike it, as long as you don't overeat them. So that's a really good brand. And even again, Costco, I need to be an affiliate with Costco. I just got this at Costco the last time I went, same brand. This is the fusilli pasta. So this is a really great option to, you can have this instead of spaghetti or for any other pasta sauce, pasta salads, etc. The other brand that we love, both of these are gluten-free, which is great. My kids and my husband don't have to be gluten-free, but they love this pasta, Go-Go Quinoa. You can buy both of these in regular grocery stores, okay? Both upside down. In regular grocery stores. Normally they're found in the natural aisle. So yeah, try both of these out. Like honestly, my family can be quite picky, and they did not notice a difference when I went from whole wheat pasta, whole grain pasta, to this one, which is gluten-free. And the nice thing is I can eat that if I want to. Other alternatives, and what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to show you a couple of them, is spaghetti squash. So if you haven't made it before, it really is super easy. So you buy your spaghetti squash. Look, it's magic. Slice it down the middle, vertically or horizontally, but lengthways anyway, let's just say that. And scoop out all the seeds and the pulp inside. And then all you're going to do is put this, heat the oven to 400 degrees. Put this on a roasting pan like that. And I'm just going to drizzle it. I've got a little bit of avocado oil. And here, again, I just get with my hands, just spread it out. Okay, spread the oil out. And I'm going to bake that for anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. It's always all going to depend on the size of your squash. The bigger it is, the longer it's going to take to cook. But then what you want to do, check it around 30 minutes, see if it's fork tender. And you should be able to get a fork and just scrape it, and then strands of spaghetti like squash will come off, and you have that instead of your, your pasta. Another alternative, which we like in this house, is zucchini noodles. Now, I'm going to show you how to make them using a spiralizer, but you can. The nice thing is nowadays, you go into the produce section of most of your grocery stores, you can buy your zucchini already spiralized. You can buy butternut squash spiralized. What's the other one? Sweet potato spiralized, beets spiralized. Even if you're doing cauliflower rice, which I'll show you in another video, you can get that already riced up for you. So it's really easy. You don't have to go and buy one of these. This is the spiralizer I have. They come in all different shapes and sizes. This is a brand name called Jumble, Jumbl. And I just got this off Amazon years and years ago. You can get them off Kitchen to the Table here in Orangeville. Is great for products like this. But yeah, so check that out. If you use things like this all the time, then it might be worth investing. But all you do, where's my zucchini? Okay, just cut the top off the zucchini, or that end. Cut the top off the zucchini. I actually cut it off both ends. Now my spiralizer comes with 3 different size blades, so it depends on the thickness. I tend to go with the thinner. I like the thinner one. So all I'm going to do, I'll turn it this way. Stick one end on here, push it in, and seriously, look. Can you see? I'll turn it so you can see now. You just turn it like Sam, when he was 4, could turn this for me. It's so easy to turn. I will say that these, the zucchini is super easy to do. This one I find it's tougher if I want to use the harder vegetables, such as carrots or butternut squash or sweet potato. But this one is super easy. Look at that. You see that? And now, really, I used to, and you can still do this, just before your meal, heat a saute pan just with a little bit of oil in there, just over low heat, and just saute it for a few minutes. You don't want it to get too soft because it will get really mushy. But now all I tend to do, because I do the noodles quite thin, they're like spaghetti, hey? What I tend to do is I'll just put them on the bottom, put this hot sauce on top, and then that tends to just soften them up that little bit. I don't like mine too mushy. Okay, so I think that's about it. Now this is still getting the pressure up to where it needs to be. So what I will do is you should have seen at the beginning of the video, I will post a picture of the finished product. But any questions, please post them below. Post pictures of the recipes of mine that you're making. I would love to see them. And also let me know what else you want to see. Okay, the recipe for this and the link to some spiralizers, the links to these pastas I will put in the video description. So check out there. But yeah, if you like this video, please share it with your friends and family. Share it on your social media and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you liked what you see. I will be back again soon in Mel's kitchen for another cooking chance together, okay? Take care, guys. Bye.